Hello and welcome back to another guitar restoration. The next project we'll be doing is this lovely Ibanez Talman bass, I believe it's called. It's come to me pretty much semi-restored. So it looks like a metal flake finish on purple. But I will be completely stripping this back and changing it. All the components are there, I believe, but we can check that as we go along. The bridge is all there. I cleaned up the chrome on the jack plate and one of the, I think it's the tone knob on there, but I've got to check all the electrics anyway. I've never done a bass before, so it's going to be a fun little project and a little bit of a learning curve for me as well. Bridge is okay, needs a bit of a clean, but that's fine. The scratch plate has been painted. I've started scraping some of the paint off here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. In fact, I'm not sure what actual finish I'm going to do on this guitar yet. I know I'm going to take it right back to the wood, maybe do some sort of stain and some grain accentuation or something like that on it. I might do a candy, might do some airbrushing on it, I've no idea yet. But what we'll do is we'll strip it all back and then I'll sort of make some plans about what we're going to do. The neck is pretty good, very dirty. As you can see, it's got a little bit of bedroom dirt and things on that. So this one is cleaning off. The frets are really nice, just need a really good polish. Fret ends are really nice, which is something you'd expect really from a Ibanez. The headstock is in really good condition. This is just going to get a clean and a polish. I'm not going to do anything with that. Just going to try and keep that standard. Tuning pegs seem really nice. So basically I might even just take these off, clean them, oil them, put it all back together. The nut looks okay. I think that's plastic. Is that plastic or is that bone? I'm going to have to find the specs online for these, I think, and see what sort of specifications they have. Like I said before, I'm a bit of a novice where basses are concerned. I've never done the electrics again on these before. It's got the dual pickups here, and then it's also got a pickup here as well. There's some multi-way switches I've noticed as well in the electrics. So it'll be interesting to find out what they actually do. It's also got on the back a 9-volt battery slot as well. So what that does, I don't know. But we'll find out. It's going to be fun finding out. When I first got the guitar, the little spacer washers were missing. I found those, put those in. So I've got to take the actual neck off again. I just wanted to put those in, make sure they all fit. And you may have noticed on the back here, there's no clear coat, because as I was messing about with these screws here, the neck screws, I chipped one and a bit of paint came off, and then I continued and basically all the lacquer came off. It just peeled off. It's not adhered to the actual metal flake. So this will actually be being stripped all the way back to wood, which I don't think is going to be a bad idea with it, the paint not actually being stable. So what I'll do now is I'll take the neck off and then I shall continue stripping off the metal flake, and we'll see what the wood is like underneath that. Well, that was the quickest lacquer peeling job I've ever done. It's a shame, really. It's just saved me a little bit more time. So now I can just DA this over, probably with a 180. I believe it's white underneath this, or cream as the original colour. So I'm going to go right through that, down to the wooden sealer. And then we'll have a look at the actual wood grain, see what that's like. If it's a nice wood grain, I might be able to accentuate it, make it look a little bit nicer. Use some different techniques with some stains and inks and things. Make it look a little bit different, a little bit more high end. Yeah, but that has come off really nice and easy. There's a little hole here, isn't it? That must be for the earth, is it? The earth wire comes through there. See, an actual hole in there. Is that damage? There's an actual hole in there, so that must be for an earth wire goes on the bottom of the bridge. Must be. Yeah, okay. So all this I've got to investigate. Okay, so the next step will be to give it a good DA down with a 180, remove all the paint, right back to the wood. Right, so I've actually tried using the DA sander, and this base coat is just clogging up the sanding discs. It's getting really, really sticky. So I found, again, the best way is just with my heat gun, some gentle heat, heating it up slowly, and then it's removing, oh, that's hot, handle gets hot, is just removing the actual paint and the seal at the same time. But that doesn't matter, because I want to actually do some of the grain here anyway. I want to try and accentuate it, try and stain it again, and make it look more interesting than just a plain piece of wood. So I'm going to continue with this without burning my fingers, hopefully, and hopefully get all the paint off, and I'll see you when it's all sanded. Right, so it's probably been a day since the last clip, and pretty much all the paint is off. I had to use a lot of heat to get it off, actually. There's a few little scorch marks here and there, but that'll be sanded out hopefully with the next step. What I'm doing now is just going around all the edges just with a bit of 180, just to clean all the lines up, make sure it's all nice and smooth and rounded. And then I'll probably go over then with a 400 just to make it all really smooth, ready to accept the stain. And I think I'm going to go over with the cherry red. I think I'm just going to do cherry red stain in the middle. I'm going to do a sunburst again, I think, with the same red I've got on my Strat, which matches my old car. So I'm going to do a solid red round here, probably with a little bit of red metal flake mixed in, and then a clear over the top showing the red through the middle, I think. But we'll hopefully muddle our way through, see what that looks like when it's done. But the only thing I'm worried about is the actual centre of it is covered quite extensively with the scratch plate, like that. So if I do a stain, it's going to have to be the actual, sorry, I should say the sunburst is going to have to be really, really local to this edge around here, so I can actually see as much of the actual wood as possible. On the back it's going to be all right. You're going to see it all on the back, because the back is lovely. The wood grain in this is really, really nice. You can see the grain all through here. I'll just step back a little bit so you can see it. Hold on. That's better, yeah. So you can actually see all the wood grain through here. It's got a really nice sort of look to it. So I just want to go slightly higher end sort of look. I'm still undecided what to do with the scratch plate, because I think underneath it should be, I think it's the original one with the light. It actually was like a light blue. I think it was actually. I'll just scratch that off. Yeah, it was a tortoise shell. So I might. Would that go with red? Tortoise shell and red? I suppose it might do. It's got like a reddy brown colour to it. So I might be able to strip all this off and polish it back up. Or I go chrome like I have done with my Strat. Like this. So I may even go similar to this. So the red on the base is going to be this red around the edge, so it'll be that red solid around the edge, probably with a tiny bit of flake in just to give it a bit of a pop, and then the wood grain through the middle with the red cherry red stain. Maybe a little bit of candy in there as well. So I'm tempted to go chrome scratch plate just to match my favourite Strat. Because I will be keeping this base for myself, so I may even do that. But what I'll do is I just continue with the sanding. I don't want to bore you with loads of sanding. It's just me sanding wood and making lots of dust. And then when I get to the wood stain, I'll check back in with you, and hopefully I'll have made a decision on what I'm going to do with the scratch plate. Right, so it's all flattered now with a 400. I will check it again after I put the first lot of stain on, make sure there's no actual real dark scarring or anything like that, but the amount of material we're going to put on this anyway, you're not going to see any little scars. So what I'll do first, this is the only gloves I've got, it's a big old black marigold. So what I think I'll do is just try a little bit of stain first. I haven't got a massive amount of this left because I did my red Les Paul with it. Straight away you can see some scarring, can't you? I think that's all covered by the scratch plate there anyway. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. I'll do a little, give it a nice coat of this all over. I'm probably going to stay away from the edge like that, because then that will be solid red of some description. Don't know what yet. I think I'll give this a coat, then I'm going to give it another sand, so you can still see some scarring in it. And bits and pieces. I don't want them to be out of it. Like through here, I don't know if you can see those on camera. So I think, let's look at this where the scratch plate goes. Yeah, that covers that. There's a scar there and there and there. Okay, so I think I'm just going to give this another flat, and then I'll stain it, and I'll come back to you when I've done that. Right, so I've just been experimenting a little bit with the actual colour. I'm trying to get the grain to actually sort of fade, so I think I've got a little bit more sanding to do here to make that actually a little bit more like it is here. So I'll probably sand that back when it's fully dry. I've also just gone around the edge as well with a little bit of red to give it that almost a sunburst look. I think that should work quite nicely, just needs a lot more work. A lot more sanding, of course. What's it like on the back? Let's have a look. Oop, it's all very wet still. Yeah, see what I mean by the sunburst sort of style there? But I've got to do some more fading in, I think. This all needs sanding off here. So it looks a bit more like that. Give it more of a faded look. But yeah, we're sort of getting there. That's the sort of style I want, and then I'll put loads of clear on it, maybe some candy as well, just to give it that extra depth, and probably a tiny bit of metal flake just on the edges, I think. But the edges all need sanding back when it's all completely dry. It's still very, very wet. Some of the end grain there is a little bit rough, so I'll be sanding all that back, then build up more colour, a lot more candy, and hopefully it should look quite nice. So I'm just doing a little bit more sanding on the actual body here just before I do the next coat of red. I don't know if you can hear the thunderstorm we're having at the moment. The rain is pouring on the roof. But I've just been messing about with a little bit of chrome vinyl on the scratch plate. I think I quite like the look of that. Yeah, the vinyl's not perfect because the actual plastic underneath is a little bit foobarred, to say the least. But if I can get one in chrome, like I have on my Strat, I'd be really happy with that. But I think that was quite a nice look, especially with the red as well. It's going to be all glossy and shiny with the wood grain through it. A nice bridge. Where is the bridge? Let me just see if I can. So with the bridge, I think that'll look quite good. Yeah. So I might just fit this anyway for now until I can actually source a proper Ibanez chrome scratch plate. I don't know if they actually make them or not. If not, I might see if I can get some better chrome vinyl and see if I can wrap this and make it look even better. I'll probably have to strip all the paint off and polish it to make it really nice, flat, smooth finish to stop all these little scratches and bits of dirt. This is just basically dirt in the paint underneath. But yeah, I think when it's all done, that's going to look really good. I'm trying to give myself a bit of a mid-build motivation. So what I think I'll do now is carry on with the sanding, get all this nice and smooth, continue with the red outline, and then I'll get all that ready for some clear coat. So as you can see, we're making quite a bit of progress on the base. I'm sort of getting happier with the actual finish. Still needs a lot more sanding to make the wood nice and smooth. I'm quite happy with the fade, but once I do the actual candy around here as well, that should just basically fade that in a little bit more. I'm just going to do candy around here, then the rest is going to be clear, just so the actual red and the orangeness of the actual wood is going to actually show through. And then I might do a tiny bit of metal flake just to give it a bit of a lift, I think. I'm not quite sure yet. I'll probably make that decision when I actually do the clearing. But I also want to do a little bit of an update on the last build, which was the Ernie Ball Music Man 1. I've basically done some work on the actual pickups, and basically the pickups are knackered. I fitted this is just an EMG here at the moment, but I am going to go online and I'm going to order a set of replacement pickups, the zebra ones, to match, so it keeps it in there with the original look. I've tried different connotations of actually wiring the actual pickups in, different setups, etc. The original ones and there is one here, look. And basically I'm not getting any, or hardly any output from these at all. So whether it's because I changed the pot, because I put just a standard pot on there, I don't know. But this one here, this EMG, is really nice, got a really nice crisp sound from it. The neck still needs a little bit of adjustment. I think the nut is probably a little bit worn, so it's actually, the strings are actually sitting a little bit low, so I might get a nut as well, put that out and put a new nut in, probably a nice bone nut or something like that. But yeah, so the next episode of the Ernie Ball will be coming up probably in a couple of weeks when the parts have all arrived. What I'll do now is get back on with the base. I think I'm going to do a little bit more sanding around this edge here. You can still see some wood grain, just to actually flatten that a little bit more. And then I'm going to put a little bit more red on, I think, just to get a bit more of a depth. Sand this back a little bit. So basically all I'm doing really, and this is a bit of 240, I'm just taking the actual paint back, you can see there, just to show the wood and fading it back, fading the actual fade of wood back, just to show the grain a little bit and accentuate the grain and fade the solid red so it looks less of a harsh line, in theory. Right, so while I finish all this off, I'm probably going to call the episode it for now. I think it's probably gone on long enough. So in the next episode, I'll have completed the red. That should all be done, and then what I'll do, I'll show you how I do my candy. We'll go around with the candy and the clear coat, maybe just like the Ernie Ball one. I may just have the wood showing through, because I think it's quite a nice grain now. I've accentuated it a little bit with the stain. So yeah, I think it'll be a nice looking guitar when it's all done. So I hope you'll join me in the next video. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe. Stay tuned for more guitar painting madness, and I'll see you in the next video.